Grandma's birthday. See, it's her. I'm down here with like a ton of my family, and we went off and forgot a cake. So I got to go back to the grocery store and buy a birthday cake before she goes to bed.
Oh man. Well, yeah. So I mean, for Grandma, it's got to be. You got to get there definitely before 9:00.
Yeah.
That's funny. It was my birthday yesterday. So happy birthday to us. Happy birthday, Grandma.
Yeah, and then my youngest son, his birthday is Friday, and my grandpa's, which he died a couple months ago, but his birthday was tomorrow, or is tomorrow.
And my sister's birthday is tomorrow, so how insane.
And my dad's birthday is today.
That's crazy. You know what? There was a lot of people feeling pretty randy in late November.
And Haley Deegan's birthday is tomorrow.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Okay. Shares one with my sister. That's cool. Yeah. So with that, what up, Freddie? What up, Drop? Let's. I think we should go ahead and get started, Sherwin, since we got some limited time here. And
we gotta fire off.
Yeah, we'll get moving. So, John, we start off the show by doing all this intro stuff. It lasts maybe a minute and a half or so. We might drop off. In other words, you won't be able to hear us, but we'll be able to hear you. So if you just stick around with us for that first 90 seconds, then you'll hear us bring you on and everything, and it should be good to go from there. But like I said, we'll be able to hear you, and the recording will be able to hear you. So we'll bring you on, and we'll be rolling. Sound good to you?
Okay. Yeah.
Awesome. Sherwin, you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
John, you feeling good? You ready?
Yeah.
All right, we're recording now. Welcome, y'all! That's right. This is the Pregame Engineering Tailgate Mirror Racing Podcast, episode number 204. It's Wednesday, July 17th, 2019. I'm Tailgate Mirror Rusty Wallace. I'm in the PTM Podcast studio with Pregame Engineer Andrew Sherwin. What's up, dude?
Man, I really appreciate everybody that's paying attention, us postponing it for a day. Thank you, John, for your willingness to postpone it as well.
To do some rescheduling. As it turns out, some guy had a birthday yesterday.
Some guy.
I feel a little bit older. Like, just a little bit.
Just a little bit?
But way wiser. I'm way smarter than I was.
Did you get a couple more gray hairs overnight?
You can't get no more than I got. Well, y'all, we got a great guest on tonight. And before we do that, y'all know what the deal is. This podcast is sponsored by you. That's right. You go to patreon.com/PTM. Join the Wet Drink Club for as little as $1 a month. Get that free koozie and stickers. Best part is, every cent this year, we're once again donating to sponsored drivers. So join the PTM Posse today. Be a part of the sport you love. This week's show is brought to you by our official sponsors at the $5 and up per month level. Those are Laura Henshaw, Aaron Bearden, Robert Kevin, Coleman, Clam, Eric Kevin, Ryan Kiefer, Patrick Cleary, Jeff Brown, Brendan Crowd, Kathleen McDonald, Stacey Wright, Brandon Carl, Rika Porter, John Bob, Les Miller, Tommy Witt, Jubilee Bosley, John Pearson, Eddie Greer III, Youngkin Motorsports, David Mullen, Patrick Johnson, Brett Morris, Crystal Smoke, Fred Rosado, Chad Knappen, Stacey Coleman, Matthew Camper, Lisa Chanana, Rick Houston, Todd Oliver, and Sarah Anbari.
I think it's important for us to identify to those that didn't necessarily see it on the internets or on the Twitter that PTM Posse driver Jensen Jorgensen won back-to-back races last week at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Holy crap, y'all. And I'm telling you, a lot of that has to do with the PTM Posse stepping up, putting that money together, and helping out a winning driver. I mean, he might have won this thing on his own, probably would have, but we get to put him in a position where now he can look forward to the future, look forward to what's coming next, and be able to run some extra races and stuff. I mean, we're going to be all over the place. So
that's right.
Super awesome deal there. That's great. I'm y'all got to be very proud of what Jensen's got going on over there. But y'all, we want to welcome back to the show our special guest tonight. Last seen on PTM 103, Sherwin, 101 episodes ago.
It was our first trip to Atlanta Motor Speedway with like media credentials to Thursday Thunder.
Yep.
And we did it from the press box at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and John, thankfully, was very flexible because we were kind of wandering around on when we were actually going to do it and what time we would have available, and he made himself available, and he made himself available tonight.
That's right. So, y'all, it's former NASCAR driver, now Director of Business Development Stakeholder at Wood Brothers Racing. He's on Twitter @_John Wood. It's John Wood. John, what's happening?
Hey.
Hey.
I love it. Hey.
It's so I'm standing outside, and it's super windy, so I don't. If it's
heard
too
some
much,
wind.
just
It's
let me
okay.
know, and I'll go hide behind the car or something.
It's all good.
It's all good, brother. You know what? We start this show off the same way every time, and I know it's been 101 episodes since you've been on, so you might have forgot. But, John, what are you drinking on tonight?
What am I doing? What?
What are you drinking tonight?
All right. So I already told you once, but I'll go into a little bit more detail. So we always go on trips and stuff for racing, like my family and stuff. So like Daytona, we go to Phoenix and Fontana, a bunch of different places that are like fun places for kids to go and stuff. But we never go anywhere with my mom's mom, which is obviously my grandma, but she doesn't get to go on trips and stuff very often. So somebody had the bright idea that we should come to Myrtle Beach and make a big circus out of it. So there's 15 of us in I think there's either four or five bedrooms, but it's over here at North Beach Plantation. So it's a really nice place in Myrtle Beach, but we're over occupancy by probably double what we should be. And yeah, it's a mess. So that's why I'm standing outside, because there's like 8 kids in there, and yeah, it's out of control. So I should be drinking just straight rubbing alcohol the way the day's been going. But I gotta go buy my grandma a birthday cake. So I'm going to school, so can't be drinking too much.
I hear you.
Well, once you get back with that birthday cake, what you gonna be drinking?
Yeah, get into that rubbing alcohol.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sure.
We'll have to see.
What are we drinking on tonight?
Well, you know us. We got that white label Jim Beam.
Yes, sir.
And I brought some local stuff here, the Sweetwater IPA, and then I've been really getting into this White Claw stuff. It's kind of fun to drink, you know.
White Claw. Now
And see, then another funny thing is my wife stays on my ass all the time because I don't party, and well, not party, but she's like, well, "You're no fun. You don't want to go anywhere anymore. You don't ever want to like go out for a drink or anything like that." And I'm like, "Amanda, I partied more in my 5 or 10 years, like my early 20s, than like you can't even fathom it. It's just like I can't even put it into words. So if I never drink again in my life, I'll still be ahead. Like if you average it out.
So you subscribe to the Clint Boyer theory of partying.
I don't know. I mean, not that I'm keeping score, but I would say that I would at the very least keep up with him back in my prime.
I'll tell you what.
It was bad.
Or it was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. It
Bad.
It was good.
What I remember of it.
Right.
What you remember.
Well, the way I say it is, if I had to go back, I'm not sure I'd change anything. Even through the headaches and the hard times and the insanity and the I can't believe we did that 2 nights in a row thing.
Yeah, we did it just like 5 months or 6 months ago at my birthday party.
Well, there is that. Jesus, what are we thinking? Yeah. Well, John, why don't you tell us what's going on lately? What's new at the Wood Brothers?
Well, let's see. Tomorrow, in fact, we are unveiling the Darlington Throwback paint scheme.
Oh,
sweet! We've really dropped the ball on getting that out and into the public space. So we finally decided tomorrow would be just as good a day as any. Well, actually, it was deliberate that we picked tomorrow. We'll pretend it was deliberate, but it's my grandpa's birthday. And man, I'm starting to say too much now.
That's
Glen, it's supposed to be a secret what the scheme is. Anyway, whatever.
You don't have to break it, but we'd love it if you did. But you don't have to break it.
So, yeah, and just to kind of cut that off, we're unveiling the scheme tomorrow, and it's a pretty neat one. I feel I know it is. It's a cool one.
Well, Wood Brothers have been around for so long that it's one of those you would, I don't say you expect it to be great, but I mean it's one of the ones you look forward to big time when we're announcing the Darlington Throwback. So I'm super excited.
Well, yeah, I mean we're one of the few fortunate teams that have a pretty long, whatever you want to call it, like a pretty wide variety of schemes we can pick from.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people are real big on the Ricky Rudd schemes and some of the more recent ones, and I'm like, come on, like why would we pick a 13, 14-year-old scheme when we can go back almost 70 years? I mean, what? Like,
yeah.
Come on, let's be real here.
Yeah.
So
I hear you.
But I mean, they're all cool, and everybody's got their own individual tastes. But we also try to keep it, because another little known fact about this Darlington deal is they try to recommend an era that you participate with. So
yep.
Last year I think I don't even know what last year was, but like every year it's a 10-year, it's like a decade that you're supposed to pick from. Nobody ever follows it. But,
True.
We have up until present. So I don't even know what this year. I think this year is whatever you want. Run what you bring.
I think they said it was supposed to be 90 to 94.
Oh, did
okay.
they?
Then last year I think might have been whatever you want.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. This
we
one.
Yeah, we have a pretty cool one.
Awesome.
Sweet. We can't wait to see it. We will retweet the hell out of it tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Eyeballs on the screen for that thing. Now, something we've talked about a bit on the show before in the last couple months is around the whole Esports League stuff. And I noticed on your Twitter profile now has Wood Brothers Gaming on there. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we have dove headfirst into esports, and it's been fun. So, trying to explain, you may have talked about esports and covered it, I don't know, but when I'm trying to tell the person that doesn't know anything about it at all, there are two different versions of the NASCAR version of esports. Esports obviously is a video game or a virtual format of a sport, and for us in particular, it's NASCAR racing. So you got iRacing, and then you've got the NASCAR Heat Pro League, which is played on two different platforms, Xbox and PlayStation 4. So we started out, because let me backtrack, around November, I talked to the guys at iRacing. We weren't in the RTA at the time, so we weren't involved in the NASCAR Heat Pro League. That was an RTA initiative.
Mm-hmm.
So I talked to the guys at iRacing, and that was going to be the only thing we did. And they were, I love all those guys, though, and they're really enthusiastic and just a good bunch of people. So I was overly willing to do it. And so we have two iRacing teams, two different drivers, two different numbers, but they're still Wood Brothers Gaming. And then you have the NASCAR Heat Pro League, and that, as I said, is an RTA initiative. It is a league that, gosh, how do I explain this? They play NASCAR Heat 4. That's the game, and there's a version for Xbox and a version for PlayStation. And all these different teams, there's 14 different teams. All the teams are RTA participants. Each team, each organization gets two teams, one in Xbox, one in PlayStation. So we have two, or one or two, however you want to look at it. We have one on Xbox, one on PlayStation. Stuart Haas has one on both. Roush has one on both. Everybody has one. So it equals 14. And they did the way they let us pick the drivers, because obviously none of us had a clue who these drivers were, unless you played the game, obviously, but none of us did. So I'm when I say us, I mean like the different teams. So let's back up to about March. 704 Games gave every one of us a sort of like a spreadsheet that showed stats, and all we really saw was a gamer tag, which is like a screen name. Then there was a little YouTube clip that would be like a 1 minute, hey, my name is so-and-so, and here's why you should pick me. And then it would show their win percentage and top threes, top fives, all that jazz. So we really had no way of knowing who was who. It was kind of just going into it blind and looking at that stat sheet. And they did the draft at Phoenix. The way the draft was done is there was a fan vote, just like they do the All-Star race, the real All-Star race.
Mm-hmm.
And whichever team had the most votes for this draft thing would pick first, and then whoever had the least would pick last. They did that for Xbox, and then they inverted the lineup for PlayStation 4. So both of these platforms, I hope you're keeping up, both of these platforms are treated equally. So Xbox is no greater or lesser than PlayStation. They're just two completely independent, equal things. So I got the idea, all right, so there's no way I'm going to be able to get the as many or more votes than a Stuart Haas or a Hendrick or any of these bigger teams. So I thought, maybe I can just hope I get no votes, be last, and then when they invert it, I'll go first for PlayStation. So sure enough, they did the draft. I didn't send out a single tweet, nothing. Just act like it wasn't even happening. And it was dead last. I was going to pick first for PlayStation. So I picked a kid. His name is Casey Gom, who is that's my Xbox driver. And then I picked a kid named Slade I struggle with this. Gravett. Slade. It looks like it's Gravett, but it's Gravett. Slade Gravett. He's the youngest kid in the whole shooting match. 17 years old. Really, really, really good and super enthusiastic. Just wants to do every interview he can do, every whatever. Just I can't slow the kid down. And he's been really good. He won the opening race that we had in Charlotte. That was a really neat deal, and I think, in fact, because the way they do the point standings is they keep them, they do an average. So, like, they don't have a point standings for PlayStation and a point standings for Xbox. They take the average of the two, and that's your points. And so we struggled a little bit on the Xbox side, but Slade, I think, he always sends me a text every week, making sure I know that he's the best in PlayStation. So I do know that part. But anyway, it's been fun. It's been a really fun deal.
That's cool. And Slade, that's a hell of a name. You know,
yeah, that's a good name.
So,
if you look closely, and let me hit pause for a second. Let's just carry this on to 8:40 because I've been talking for a long time. So we'll go extra 10 minutes. But my grandma, Mima can wait on her cake.
Grandma needs some cake now. Don't be,
Yeah.
Don't cheat her out of
cake now.
Well, yeah. Back to esports.
But we'll take it.
Slade, if you look, pretty much every tweet I send out, he's going to have replied, or like whenever you invited me on to the podcast for the second time, I'm pretty sure he would have said, "Save a seat for me" or something like that. He just wants to do it all, and it makes my job a lot easier because you're used to dealing with these real drivers that just don't want to do anything, and so it's it's refreshing to have a kid that just begs you to do whatever he can do. But totally forgot this. So we were also lucky enough to get a sponsorship for this deal.
Yeah.
So that part in itself has been challenging because not because it's not a worthy platform, but because it's so new. The first thing you're asked when you go and talk to some of these companies are, can you give me some numbers? Like what am I going to get out of it? How much exposure? How much whatever? And there's no way that we can give an answer because we don't know yet. Like it's still so brand new. All the metrics and the whatever you want to call it, that stuff just doesn't exist. So it's been challenging, but we were lucky enough to get Spin Scooters. Spin is a company that does those electric scooters that you see in big cities.
Yeah.
That where you like just walk up.
We've been laughing about them for weeks, months now.
What, the scooters?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So there's actually some in Charlotte. They're everywhere.
Oh yeah.
And
all around Atlanta.
we were fortunate enough to land that, and that's been really, really cool. So very happy that we've got somebody helping us pay for this deal because it is expensive. You wouldn't think it would be playing a video game. You wouldn't think there's much expense to that, but lo and behold, it is.
Well, that's cool. And it wasn't until, I don't know, a couple months ago, sure, when we were talking about it on here, that I think that I knew that actual race teams were also race teams in the esports. Like, I was about to say sponsoring the esport, but no, these are team members of that team, but on the esports side, which, I mean, I think we said it before, that is very unique in NASCAR. I mean, there's obviously folks playing that Madden games and MLB games and
and those
FIFA
shooter games
and whatnot.
I think this is another classic example of NASCAR actually putting their first foot forward with electronic, opportunities.
Oh yeah, who took over Twitter first?
I mean, NASCAR crushed Twitter before any of the other professional sports did, and they're in the forefront of this thing now in terms of motorsports. I mean, nobody's talking about IndyCar, whatever this is.
Yeah, super cool.
There have been some learning curves to it, but it really has been a neat deal, and particularly the pro league. It's just, I mean, the way that draft went on. I mean, the draft and the first race, and those are really the only two things the two big key events. I mean, there have been 4 or 5 races since, but the two big productions that were put on was the draft day at Phoenix and then the first race. It surprised me, and I even kind of had moderately high expectations for it going in. So it was quite the deal. There's just such a nothing. The world, the way people do things now is so different than it was even 5 years ago. Like to fill up an arena with people that go to watch other people play video games. If you told me that 5 years ago, I would be like, come on, man, like, for real, crazy.
If you'd have told
now, like, it's normal, like that's just what you do. Some of these like bigger, I can't think of the name of right off the top of my head. Call of Duty, some of those others, they're just there's millions of dollars that are tied up in that. So we would all be stupid to not try to get in it, and so far I think it's been successful.
If you'd have told me 5 years ago that I would be watching people play video games on the internet, I'd told you you're stupid. But I've enjoyed watching. I think we've talked about it on here, Sherwin. I've enjoyed watching a few things. I know what we talked about it. I was watching some kid play Mario Brothers because he beat it in like 5 minutes, the whole thing, and I'm like, dadgummit, Mario's my thing back in 1987 when I was playing it, and here we are.
Well, you were pretty good at Red Dead Revolver, and I enjoyed watching you play it. I'm like, I don't want the controller because I suck.
Story line and all that. Yeah, I hear you. Well, let's do this. Let's go ahead and bring it on to the report.
Tear it on down.
Yeah, we're going to tear it down. First period, so I want to have John's opinion on a few of these couple first things. Kentucky, we had the Busch Brothers battle. And an entertaining night race. I'm curious, John, from your perspective, what was different here than perhaps other night races to where we got this? What did the package have to do with it, or tires, or whatever else that really set this one apart?
That's a good question. It didn't seem like you would the typical follow the car in front of you and that little bubble that everybody talks about that's like separates you from the car in front of you. It didn't seem like it was that pronounced for some reason this past week. I don't know. I mean, Kentucky's really not very different than Kansas. A lot of these tracks are pretty similar, so it's kind of strange. I think it was a few perfectly timed cautions because these restarts are just crazy. And that's typically where you're seeing most of the action. But without a caution, obviously, I mean, it doesn't matter what track it is. Once the cars get spread out, if there's no caution, they're going to stay spread out and just get more so. But it seemed like there were just a few good opportunistic cautions that came along that, well, just like the finish. I mean, the finish wouldn't have been all that had that late caution not happened the way it did. So
that's true.
Those things, you don't really think about it after the fact. You just remember the racing part. But I don't really know what I'm trying to get at here, other than I think that contributed to a lot of the racing and a lot of the positive sentiment coming out of it. But it was, and I was surprised that Kyle raced Kurt as hard as he did, particularly with the. I mean, Kyle's miles ahead of where he needs to be at this point in the year, I feel like. I mean, he's comfortably in the playoffs and all that stuff. So it kind of surprised me that he raced Kurt like he did for the win. I mean, that was as hard as you could race somebody without being over your head and crashing.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was great that he raced him that hard. I thought it was great that we saw what we saw at the end. I think that's probably going to come up a little bit later when we talk about the finish. But he also gave him room. He gave Big Brother room.
Yeah.
Big Brother beat him for the first time that they finished 1-2. And we saw one of the greatest finishes that we've ever seen in NASCAR in the last, I don't know, call it 20 years.
There's been a lot of good ones. That's among them. You can't,
no doubt.
Yeah, you can't say that there's another brother duo like that, and the respect they're giving each other, but also the ish that they're giving each other because they're brothers.
Well, that was the funny thing. Kurt said in his interview, he's like, "I know Kyle's going to get on the plane and leave, and I'm going to have to figure out how to get home."
And he did.
And he did.
That was.
I mean, that's funny. But between the two of them, they won 84 NASCAR Cup races. As brothers.
Yeah.
And that I don't know if for sure if that is the
standard,
the top, because I mean Richard Petty and his brother will stand apart on that because he's already got that.
Sure.
Let's put Richard Petty and them out of the book there, but because Richard won 200 and I think his brother won 1.
Yeah.
So, but I mean for the modern era. Those two, I mean, brothers going that hard at each other is pretty cool.
Yeah. It was Chevy's first win at Kentucky. The post-race was so cool to me. One, the old school celebration, and they even talked about it afterwards. I saw this FS1 piece.
Oh, where everybody climbed on the car?
Yeah, and everybody climbed on the car, and they were showing, I knew this but didn't think about this, where in the old school way, everybody jumped on the car. A million people jump on the car. The whole crew jumps on the car, and you drive it into victory lane. And I didn't think about the fact, one, that happened every race before, and two, nobody does that anymore. And so they were like, well, why can't we? Let's just do it and see what happens. I think one of them said, the NASCAR official said, hey, you can't do that. And we were like, yeah, we're
doing it anyway.
Stop us. Or something like that.
Go ahead and figure out
that
a
was
way
cool.
to quit.
And then two, Kurt's passionate post-race interview I thought was really cool.
Hell yeah!
For somebody, for somebody who has, had a, I would say, shaky past in the interview department, and really has turned over, I would say, a new leaf. Sherwin, you and I were talking about this over text, and really the new lease on life, and maybe a good bit of that had to do with the shedding of the baggage.
Well, so Kurt is right around the same age we are, as you are aware, John, because you're right around the same age as we are too. And you know what? Sometimes it takes a while to mature a little bit. Mm-hmm. Especially if you're a competitor, it takes a minute sometimes to get it all wrapped up and buttoned up and figured out.
Yeah. So. Like we said at the top of the show, decide not to party that hard every night, right, John?
Well,
right.
John, we'll move on to second period. I'm curious about your thoughts on this. We learned on, I think, Friday, whatever it was, or I can't remember what day. Stuart Frieson's truck was confiscated.
Oh, they just straight up stole it from him.
They said, this is our truck now. They had to start at the rear with a new truck, but they announced earlier today or this week or something that there's no additional penalties. Nobody's getting fined, booted, nothing. So
this is totally speculative here on my end. But I was trying to explain this to one of my friends over the weekend, and how penalties just because so a $5,000 penalty in trucks is not the same as a $5,000 penalty in cups.
Sure.
They're completely, you kind of, there's like a multiplication factor or a whatever you want to call it.
Oh, yeah.
That you gotta like,
there's
I
an
don't
X.
know, whatever the word I'm looking for is. But I think the fact that they kept the truck, they did keep it, right?
Yeah, they gave it back. They're going to give it back to them in another week and a half, I think.
Something, yeah. So
okay, so the fact that they made them not race with the truck that they brought, like if they felt like it warranted that kind of a penalty or whatever you want to call it, like a setback, that alone is pretty severe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I didn't expect there to be any more additional penalties. I didn't. Maybe short of them keeping the truck. I don't really. I mean, it just depends on. And they kind of have to weigh intent. And if intent is something that you can't really determine,
right,
then I guess that's one thing. But you know, when you hear the team side of it, it was an honest mistake. When you hear some other crew chiefs that went over and looked at it, talk about it, they have a different opinion. So I don't know. It's just it's one of those things. I don't know how else to say it. I've never had one taken myself. But yeah.
Well, no matter how egregious it was, we all know that Cup teams tend to kind of sort of halfway giggle about getting a car taken away from them, or they wreck one because they have 3 cars that they brought that are in perfect condition.
That's kind of what I meant. Like it's a pretty big setback for a truck team to not be able to race the truck that they brought.
Right.
You know what
exactly.
I mean? Like, they're not. The backup truck's probably been sitting there all year long. It'd probably be the same truck that they unloaded at Martinsville. So that in itself, I think that's what I was trying to get at. Like, just the fact they didn't get to race the truck they brought, that's a pretty hardcore thing to have happen.
Yeah, that's
if you unloaded with like I don't know. I mean, if they caught you with a bottle of nitrous or something, I mean, that's completely different. But you know, something like this, I mean, I think the penalty fits the crime, and I didn't penalizing people suspending people doesn't really do anything. I mean, most of these teams, even truck teams nowadays, there's so much depth to them. You can just plug in another person that's, I don't know, the car chief, another engineer, something. There's just so much depth to particularly these competitive teams that suspending somebody just doesn't do anything. It just doesn't. Now, the driver, that's obviously not the same. You suspend the driver, that's pretty bad. But I feel like, you know, when these deals in Cup, whenever they have inspection, whenever you roll through too many times or there's too many misses and they suspend a crew member like a car chief or an engineer, I don't really think it does very much. It is an appropriate penalty, but again, I just don't think it hurts too terribly much.
So, funny part is, Stuart Friesen then went on to get runner-up in the race and finished second.
Yeah,
how crazy!
That's crazy. Yeah, it is. It's shouldn't have happened, but crazier things have. You know?
Yeah.
Well, I think, I think truck teams just aren't prepared to bring 2 trucks that could actually race the race.
Yeah.
So I thought the penalty was appropriate.
Maybe a Kyle Busch truck team, but other than that, I would say no.
Yeah,
I'm good with them not being any residual penalties.
Right. Well, John, we know that Grandma's got to get some cake here soon, and we know that Windy Myrtle Beach is they got a cake somewhere around there ready for you to pick up. Before you leave, we'll do our picks a little later, but give me a pick for the Cup race on Sunday. Is it Paul Menard?
I started to say we struggle at Loudon, but the 2 places I think we struggled the most would have been Richmond and Loudon.
Yes,
sir. The craziest thing was I thought that we were going to be really, really bad at Richmond this past race in the spring, and it's probably the best race we've had year to date.
Paul was stout.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, I mean, it really surprised me. So some of these places, it's weird. Some of the places I feel like we're going to struggle, we don't. Some of the places I look forward to, we struggle. So it's kind of, this new rules package is kind of throwing us for
sure.
Fans.
Yeah.
It's thrown fans off too, by the way.
Well, yeah. We've struggled with it a little bit, so yeah, Well, that's best I can say it.
I will not make you go away from the homer, and we're putting you down for Paul Menard at Loudon. So, John, it was a pleasure speaking with you. You go on and have some fun with the 8 kids running around and 15 people and Grandma's birthday cake.
I'll do it.
Tell Grandma happy birthday for us. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much for joining us, John.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
All right, brother. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yep.
Y'all, there you go. John Wood of the Wood Brothers. It's like
grandson of Glen, like
right.
the patriarch.
Name ends in Wood is not a coincidence.
It's not a coincidence at all.
Oh, Sherwin, we've got plenty more to talk about, though. Even though we're not going to have the insight and the hilarity that John brought to the show, we'll do it our own way. But let's talk about third period real quick. AJ Allmendinger adds Watkins Glen to his already pretty big road schedule. Sherwin, he's got in the Xfinity Series, that is. Mid-Ohio, loved that race. Road America, loved that race. And Charlotte Roval, loved that race now. And now he's running Watkins Glen. They are putting all their eggs in the road course basket with AJ Allmendinger. I can't remember the shoot. I should have wrote it down. The name of the race team doing that.
I
started with a K or something.
I wish I had too. I mean, Dinger is it's actually absolutely a good idea because he's got all this public persona now that he's doing all this TV stuff, and then also he's got the racing acumen that they might actually have a chance to perform well in those races. And I don't know. It seems like a win-win to me.
Kaulig Racing. Kaulig.
Oh, Kaulig.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's the same team that, Brett Griffin's helping with and Ross Chastain is racing for. And, last year Ryan Truex raced for. So, I mean, that's a team they're on the rise.
Yeah, yeah. Now, we talked about before that we thought the era of the road course ringer was pretty much over. But, I mean, like I said, they're going all in on road courses with this guy. They're seeing him as a ringer, I imagine, on the road courses. So
yeah, well, most of those are Xfinity races, and we have seen ringers win Xfinity races.
True. Yeah,
what's not going to happen ever is a ringer to win a Cup race.
No more.
But
said
that's why you should watch these Xfinity races on Saturday afternoons, is because you know what? Dinger's he's gonna kick some butt.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that's how he recovered his entire his career to where he is, was Penske giving him a shot to race an Xfinity car.
Yeah.
After he had his thing go down.
Right.
The thing. It was called Adderall, and he didn't realize that's what he took.
Yeah.
And he recovered very quickly, but the problem was he couldn't any longer drive a Cup car sponsored by Pennzoil. So yeah, I'm excited about it because I mean AJ's good. He's really good.
Fun. And what's cool is seeing him. I mean, he's been in the booth. Well, I say in the booth. He's been on TV. He's usually down, on the track reporting and stuff. Or sometimes he's up in the booth stuff.
He does some of the same stuff that Parker Kligerman does.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see. I really like seeing the racers that come back on. Like when Kevin Harvick is up in the booth, or anybody who races currently. Brad does sometimes. Kyle has done it before.
Brad's done it. Kyle's done it.
Jimmy did it not too long ago.
Jimmy's done it.
Yeah. But seeing the guys racing and in the booth, you get that perspective
really
of,
cool.
Hey, here's what the current car feels like and the rules package feels like and what the teams are thinking about. It's cool to get that perspective.
Well, I think that's one of the things that people actually gave Darrell a hard time about, was that he didn't know because he hadn't driven a car in call it now
25 years.
20 years. Yeah. And the reality is that Darrell actually does know a lot about the cars. That we discovered that in the behind the scenes interviews, but it does matter that you have somebody current. I mean, that's why Junior is relevant. and Junior's good at it.
Yeah, Junior, Jeff Gordon. Here's the crazy thing, though. Extra credit, y'all. This is between fourth and fifth period. You're trying to be a nerd and get that extra credit going on. I saw an article today about Ryan Newman, and he was saying that he feels more like a rookie right now than he ever did, just in terms of figuring out the car and the racing and the strategies and all that stuff, because it's so new this year more than any other year. Meaning, he didn't mean it this way, but meaning that Dale Jr. and Jeff Gordon and anybody in the booth right now who's not currently racing today, they don't know as well as when that you know what I mean. Like it's interesting.
I would hope that they would behind the scenes
get in a car,
and try to make it go as fast as they can make it go, and try to understand why it either sucks to drive or is fun to drive.
Yeah.
And I Junior is a guy I think that would do that.
Yeah.
And Jeff is a guy I think would do that. Like, get in the car, ride it around Charlotte. I mean, a la Days of Thunder. I'm dropping the hammer. No, you're not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bang. Let's go fast and figure out what this car can do, because it's way different than what we have now.
Yeah. So anyway, that was the whole grandpa story about Allmendinger adding Watkins Glen. So I love, by the way, love the fact that Xfinity is going to all these road courses, and being able to see a road course race sprinkled in there when I'm kind of getting the itch, and
it's
I'm like,
so
man,
much fun.
Watkins Glen is 3 months away. Ooh, but I can watch Mid Ohio.
You're gonna get Mid Ohio.
Yeah.
You're gonna get Road America at Elkhart Lake.
Yeah. So I love that they're doing that.
This is the best time of the year for NASCAR racing.
Fourth period, Ryan Vargas making his debut in the Xfinity Series. He'll be driving, I think it was the number 52 car. He was...
that's the Rick Ware Racing car.
Is that... Okay. I might get the number wrong, so forgive me if that's the case.
No, that's 52, I believe.
But he's a Drive for Diversity driver. He came up through K&N. So he was born with craniosynostosis.
What in the hell is that?
It doesn't matter what it was. They cured him of it when he was a kid.
Excellent.
But it left like this Hank Jr. scar along the side of his head, and apparently that side of his head is completely flat. Like, he's not got a round head. It's flat part right there. So I'm not sitting here making fun of him. He said this in an interview, I think, with Jeff Gluck or somebody a few weeks ago. He's like, oh, yeah, my head's flat right here. It's pretty wild. I have my hair, growing around it to make it look a little rounder. But
it's like Mike Snyder had his Blaine.
Had his Blaine?
he had his brain operated on it, too. He had a cancer tumor removed. And he's been racing Cup all year.
So he's had all these ups and downs Ryan Vargas has, and making his debut. I think that's pretty cool to see somebody come up. It sounds like he doesn't come from money.
He comes from money.
He comes from like negative money. Like they can't afford to
no money.
Yeah, right.
Like the Ron White joke.
Yeah, no money. Yeah. So yeah, really cool. We'll see what happens there. I mean, obviously you don't have these crazy expectations, but hey, Justin Haley didn't have a whole lot of expectations for Daytona last week.
Certainly he didn't, and you know what? He got his deal. So It is what it is.
Yep. Going to fifth period. So did you watch the end of that Pinty's race in Toronto?
I did not.
Okay.
And I wish I had.
Well, it's online. There's like a 4-minute video of the end of it. It was just really cool streetcar racing, which I've seen a lot of streetcar racing just in the background, or hey, the race just we talked about it with Nate Ryan last week. The race just ended. The NASCAR race just ended, and they're showing IMSA, and they're on a street course, and I'm like, ooh, that's fun. That's interesting. Ha ha ha. But this was like, holy crap! These cars are so much fun to watch on street courses. I mean, we know they're fun to watch on road courses. Say what you want, street versus road, blah blah blah. But you know what? So this was in Toronto, the Grand Prix Toronto street course. I'm digging it, man.
So, in the interest of being, like what's the grandiose scheme of things, I'm interested in being happy about the idea that maybe we would do that. I do not like street course Indy races, and I've watched a lot of them because they suck. But it's because those cars can't touch without creating big problems for each other. Stock cars, different story.
Right. Not only can they touch, but they just absolutely bonk the ish out of each other.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Yeah, you can straight up just crash the shit out of somebody in a stock car, and they're not getting hurt.
Right.
You're going to hurt their car maybe,
well, and here's
but you're not the person driving the car is not getting hurt.
Right. And they'll crash you back on the next lap because they're still running because it was only like a shallow bay or a shallow turn there.
Well, it's a lot like...
You can really get after people, I feel like.
So you can compartmentalize those very particular situations like we just talked about with Kurt and Kyle Busch this last weekend about how they rubbed each other for 2 laps. They were all up in each other's ish. And, at the end, Kyle decided to pull down instead of to crash him and his brother together. That's basically what happened there is Kyle pulled down, car got loose, they got, boogered up a little bit, but he didn't have enough grip to beat him back to the line.
Right.
He could have just run them both into the wall.
Right. So, I don't know. I would like to see. This is one of those things that I wish NASCAR had a little bit more agility to them to be able to say, let's try this track next year. Let's try this street course next year, see how it runs. And if it is a successful race, great. If it's not, see you later. I know you can't just do that. There's too much behind the scenes to be able to just do that. I get it. You're bringing potentially hundreds of millions of dollars worth of cars to this one place just to try something on a whim. So I get it. But, what other things are they trying on a whim with hundreds of million dollars?
Yeah. Well, so that's one of the things that I will, sometimes tweet out, through our PETM podcast Twitter handle is, I don't think you understand how much money is involved in this. And, we have to understand why this or that or the other thing is a good idea. Because as a fan, I'm with you 100%. Let's try something crazy. But the problem is SMI owns this half of the tracks, and ISC owns this half of the tracks, and Dover International Limited owns 2 tracks.
Those 2, yeah.
And those things don't get along, so we can't just move stuff around.
Right.
And, if that all were to be combined under one roof, which is, I think, what NASCAR is trying to do, then maybe we have a different program.
So, interesting. But, street course, Pinty's. If y'all haven't watched it, go back and watch that. It's a
NASCAR. It's a NASCAR.
You're right, it's a NASCAR touring series.
It's a NASCAR product.
Yep. So might as well watch it. It's like 4 minutes long at the end there. Really cool. We'll go on to Recess, Sherwin. There's a mini documentary on FS1 right now on the 1975 album that 6 NASCAR drivers took the lead vocals on. It's called NASCAR Goes Country.
I heard about this.
Richard Petty sings "Let the Good Times Roll." Let the good times roll. Kel Yarborough on "Hey, Good Looking."
What you got cooking?
That's right. And he said, and Kel Yarborough said, well, that album didn't go platinum. It went plastic. That's pretty good.
Kel Yarborough was pretty matter of fact, dude.
Yeah, he was.
Still is, probably, I'm sure, but he was definitely very matter of fact.
I should have asked. I should have brought this one up. I would have loved to hear if John had ever heard Paul Menard do some singing.
High songs and stuff.
Exactly.
I'm done.
So who would we like to see in today's driver pool do some singing? Like, who do you think would be the funniest? Here's the thing.
Oh, Blaney or Bubba? Both.
Well, I think they would be the rock stars.
They're actually musicians.
They would make it happen. That would
they
be the
already
best ones.
do this thing.
They would be the best ones. Who would be the funniest to see? Because there's no way they could
actually sing.
Right. Hamlin?
Newman?
Okay. Who do y'all think? PTM Posse. Y'all send that to us.
I don't think Eric Jones can sing for shit.
I'm trying to think who else. I bet Suarez could sing.
Oh yeah, especially in Spanish.
Right.
Mi corazón perdido en ti.
There's that. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, who else? Who else would be awesome or terrible?
Maybe just based on like their outward vocals, like the way you talk. Oh hell.
It's a good question. Y'all send us your thoughts.
I don't think Chase is like. I don't think he has enough personality to sing very well.
Yeah, that would be like Casey Kane singing. Like he'd be like, "Yeah, I'm singing." Okay.
I think Clint would smash something.
Clint would destroy the field, and it doesn't matter if he has any vocal talent whatsoever. I think he's the one that's singing.
He's going Toby Keith.
Oh, I'm thinking Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, or that.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's doing that one, and owning it. So, no doubt. With that, Sherwin, let's go to the questions. Ask PTM. Andrew Kansian at KHANTZIAN. Goodyear already warning teams about keeping the tire pressures above the minimum PSI with the increased corner speeds and downforce. Could that be a precursor? Kansian, you're using some big old fifth grade words here. Could that be a precursor?
Well, he graduated from college, so now he's like, he thinks he's an adult now.
Right. Is that a precursor for some tire problems this weekend, Sherwin?
I don't know. I don't mind Goodyear saying, hey, y'all better chill the bleep out. But there were two guys that blew tires that they weren't really sure why that happened because they weren't rubbed. Mm-hmm. One of them was Chase Elliott. So, I think it's fair to, for Goodyear to send that message to say, hey, look, we give you this.
Yeah, we don't put that number there for.
Yeah, we don't put this number there for no reason.
We tested this thing. We're engineers.
There's a reason for this. We did tire tests. Okay, so behave yourselves.
Right.
I don't know. So behave yourselves.
Yeah, could that be a precursor? I think it could be. If they're actually coming out to say something, I think possibly we might see a few more tire issues this weekend. We'll see.
Well, I would bet on that 100% at the pay window. If you ask me if I would lay a $20 bill on somebody's going to have a tire problem that's totally unrelated to any kind of rub,
peel off several of those 20.
I might put a yardstick down, just bang.
So, and that makes for great racing. We've kind of said it before.
We want tires to tear up.
We want tires to matter. We want gas. I like a good fuel mileage race every once in a while if it's like good strategy and stuff. I don't like it when it's like, okay, well, 12 guys ran out of gas and
78 guys took 2 tires and you were the one that took none.
Right.
And you win. Okay,
yeah.
Well, all right.
But I like tires to matter one way or the other.
I want tires to matter a lot.
Yeah. So yeah, it sounds like Goodyear's saying, hey, guys, in New Hampshire, tires are going to matter. So, cool.
Boom.
Do it. Ship it. Mick Rose at GoDucks42_Mick. Now, there were a few emoticons in this one, so I'm not sure if I got the whole thing right. But if you win at Loudon, will you get a giant lobster to go with the rooster? What was the deal?
No, it was a goat.
A goat. Okay.
But the rooster, it was meant to be goat, but it's rooster because John, remember the big old rooster thing you bought and the shirt and all that stuff?
Okay.
Like that.
So, my bees. We should ask that to John. Oh, well. I was trying to, like I said, there was emoticons in this, and I'm like, well, maybe Sherman will give some context that matters here.
Yeah. No, it was about when he bought that big-ass freaking rude.
That's right. Yes. And we should have asked John that question. My B, Mick. Next time we have him on, at this pace, it'll be PETM 305.
Exactly.
That'll be another.
It'll be faster than that, by the way.
Yeah. So we'll table that one, Mick. With that, new follower shout out, Kara Tabor at KATABOR. Sherwin, talk to us.
Man, I listened to a really fascinating miniseries podcast that was produced by the Miami Herald about a racer named Randy Lanier, who he raced sports cars. He raced in Indy a little bit, but mostly he just smuggled weed. But I mean, he was super well respected as a racer, but he smuggled weed like a mofo.
Right.
And it's a 6-part series. They're all about 30 to 35 minutes apiece. It's kind of thing you can knock out about 2.5 hours if you put your podcast player on 1.5x. But it is super interesting. Like, I never knew who he was, and it's awesome.
And Kara is the producer of said podcast. So thank you, Kara, for hanging along with that show. And let's go ahead and gas it up. There it is. PTM Posse, I have never been in the state of New Hampshire. Have you, Sherwin?
Yes, I did for work last year.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yep.
I thought you were in, I knew you were in Boston, but you made the...
Flew from Boston, drove to New Hampshire.
Cool.
Yep.
Well, you got that one up on me. I gotta get
Yeah, so I got that one checked off the list.
There you go. Few fun facts brought to you by our friend. Not shouldn't say brought to you, but shamelessly stolen from our friends at MOATF Podcast.
Yeah.
We're doing fun facts as long as they're not doing them. We're stealing it.
Can y'all please start your podcast up again?
Please, Andrew, David, podcast start now. Go. Just get on the mic and start
immediately now.
You know what? I'll tell y'all what. I will Skype you, and you just start talking, and then I will record it, and then I'll post it for I just want to hear y'all talk. Yeah, love you. But with that, fun facts about Loudon, New Hampshire. Pretty much, Sherwin, there is nothing to do in Loudon, New Hampshire, except go to the race.
I've heard these things.
So we had, what was it, Sparta, Kentucky last week? They at least had a distillery. The most fun thing I could find outside of the racetrack in Loudon, they have a candy shop. There's a candy shop there.
I mean, I guess
they got a golf course.
They're 50 miles from the coast, so maybe you could do that.
Well, so they're just a few miles northeast of Concord, which is the capital, of course, of New Hampshire, which I don't know what there is to do in Concord. Where did you go in New Hampshire when you went?
Amherst.
Okay. Is there anything there?
No.
Okay. Except that one place that you visited, whatever it was?
No, that's the only place.
It's probably some plant or something.
It's a little closer to the coast than the actual race.
Yeah. So it's just a few miles northeast of Concord. It's in the southeast part of the state, and it's 75 miles north of Boston. So it's kind of if you're going to be there, you might as well be in Boston, right? Or do something in Boston.
Well, Boston's a fun town.
Yeah. They have their annual population, not the population on race day, but annual population, actually about 3 times more than Sparta, Kentucky. So they have 603 people that are officially licensed members
Sparta
of
has 211.
Yeah, that was 200 and something. Yeah, it was really low.
Good grief.
So Loudon was originally incorporated. Here's what they got on Sparta. They were originally incorporated in 1773 and named after a Scottish soldier who led the British forces during the French and Indian War. So we were like, yay, we did great at the
enemy.
So that's what's funny. So this is 1773. So this is before,
the French Indian War. Yeah, it was before.
Right. So they're like, yay, this British soldier really helped us out. We're going to name our town after him. And then 3 years later, screw the British.
Raj will love this because we'll mention the Iroquois because he's indigenous Iroquois.
I love it. Yeah.
Roger Diamond, thank you always for your support. Pause.
Oh, okay, that was it.
Sorry,
Gotcha.
I
thought you were about
fresh
to say
ran
something.
out of stuff to say.
Love it when that happens. That's fun. Besides visiting the racetrack, I said there's a candy shop. There's like a golf course, and there are 2 farms.
Well, if there's a golf course, that's 7 hours completely covered.
So I really love now looking at that TripAdvisor thing and saying, okay, what are the best things to do here? And it was just like Sparta. It was like, number 1 is the Cup race. Number 2 is like go to the Xfinity race. Number 3 is just go to the racetrack when there's nothing racing.
There's an IndyCar race there, too.
Yeah, go to the IndyCar. And then it gets down. You're like at number 7 before they're like, are you sure you don't want to go to the racetrack? That's the only thing we have here. Right? And then number 8, it said there's it was some family name farm, but they misspelled the word farm. It was like Wallace Fram.
Fram.
Farm. It was
right.
Fram.
Well.
I'm like, wow, you can either go to the Speedway or go to the Fram.
Let's go to the Fram. Let's see what happens.
Down on the Fram. Oh, with that, everybody, it's time for us to do some picks down on the Fram. Here's Junior to let us know.
Drivers, start your engines!
I wasn't sure if you wanted to replace that with the Larry McReynolds one, but I do still like that
good
one
one.
better.
It's a
but
good
it
one.
was real good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know what? We should, keep it fresh. Do, a yearly thing or something like that. Sherwin, last week, Nate Ryan chose William Byron, who finished 18th. I chose Jimmy Johnson, who finished 30th.
Whoops.
And you picked Joey, who finished 7th. Respectable, but I would say as a team, we didn't exactly, burn the barn down with this one.
Yeah, I don't think we really represented all that well.
So we got to represent this
in grand respect.
You've got the no make it take it rules, so I'm going first. So we have John. We went ahead and picked Paul Menard. Like, you can't ask John Wood of
Not
Wood
to
Brothers
pick Paul
that fields
Menard,
one car, and that car is Paul Menard, for him to go, well, I think Jimmy's probably going to take it this week. Sure, I'm doubling down. I'm going Jimmy twice in a row, even though he was 30th. Loudon
Look
is a
at
place
you.
where he ain't sucking at historically. So,
Well, if we're all going Homer here, or some representation of being Homer, I'm going to go Chase Elliott, man.
Chase, dude, 2 Hendrick cars. What does that say?
Chevy's real good at Loudon.
Chevy's real good in Loudon, and Chevy just won a race this past week, and that was Chevy's first. I think I said it before, first win in Kentucky, and Chevy
ever,
yeah. And Chevy, we keep saying it. I feel like we're a broken record at this point, week after week. It was like, what's wrong with Chevy? What's wrong with Chevy? Then like, hey, Chevy's coming back. Hey, Chevy's doing really good. And now we're probably 3 or 4 weeks in a row. We're like, hey, Chevy's back. So I think they're back. I think Jimmy had an unfortunate circumstance last week, and I'm rooting for him, man.
Well,
I don't know what to say.
So I don't know where we're at. I think we're done here as far as our show sheet goes, but we didn't really talk about Kurt Busch winning.
Really talk about
we kind of talked about it, but
we can go deep. But
how so the general internet public freaks out when a Busch wins anything. Mostly when it's Kyle.
Sure.
But when it's Kurt and he beats Kyle, it kind of it fires up a little bit, it warms up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I don't think people realize that Kurt Busch is a Hall of Fame race car driver.
Yeah, he's a champion. He's a NASCAR season champion and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And so what I saw last weekend was what I saw, I don't know, the last 3 times maybe that Casey won. And not to say that Casey is Kurt, because Kurt has obviously done more, but the last restart, do things that you don't expect to happen.
The zone. He
was just in it. The zone.
Yeah.
The zone. Get in the zone and win the race.
I'm with you, man. Well, let's shut it down with that. In the zone, y'all. We want to give a couple shout-outs. We shouted out to MOTF. Hey, y'all, if you ain't listening already, y'all go check out Brandon
and Lap Traffic
at Lap Traffic PC and Lap Traffic on the wherever you can find.
He's
stuff.
also on Instagram. Lap Traffic PC, I think.
Oh, good for Brandon. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So obviously we hang out with him all the time.
He had last week's truck winner on this week. How cool is that, Tyler Ankrum?
Oh yeah, that's fantastic. And Ross Chastain did not win the Xfinity race, so he you guys know without a doubt we are Ross Chastain mofo. He broke the streak of after he went on PTM, he had won every race, and that was multiple weeks in a row, y'all.
So I should fly up to Detroit and punch Brandon in the face.
Yes, I mean whether you're doing it for a reason or not. Yes.
We still love you, Ross.
Woo! And we still love you, Brandon.
Watermelons.
That's right. Here we go, y'all. Y'all know what the deal is. You know where to find us. PTMpodcast.com at PTM Podcast. And as always, every week, I am Tailgate Mayor Rusty Wallace at Tailgate Mayor.
And I'm Andrew Sherwin at Pregame Engineer and at Andrew L. Sherwin on Instagram.
We can't wait to talk to y'all next week. We're going to have a great show. Hope y'all enjoyed this week. Woo!
Closeout music. Singer is going to be on our show next week.
That's right. We sang last week. Let's do it again this week.
Boom. The flag on the gas. Let's go, 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 go. The throttle is wide open. And we ain't slowing down. We damn sure ain't slowing down. Running on grooves in a checkered first place. Wheels and racing cars. We are NASCAR. We are NASCAR.
That's right, y'all. Sydney will be on next week.
Woo, woo!
I think we have to, we need to, write down the lyrics and sing the entire song next week while she's on and see if she'll sing with us,
I'll bring my guitar. I'll learn how to play it.
Oh, now that would be pretty special.
Yeah, I'll do that. That's fine.
PTM Posse.
I can't believe I hadn't done that yet, actually, to be honest with you.
It's PTM After Dark. Y'all know what that means.
I think it's because she sings so high that I'm scared of it. But it doesn't mean I can't play the notes.
Well, as I've heard singers always say, if you can talk, you can sing. And I don't know if I believe them still, but I can talk and I try to sing. Not that I'm saying I sing any good, just that gives me some inspiration.
Well, I think the thing that scares me about it is there's whoever's running her not rhythm but lead guitar is way down the fret, and he's on an electric, and I'm like, whew, I haven't learned to do that yet. I have to stay high on the fret on an acoustic, and I can play a lot of notes now.
Keep them entertained. I have to go take a test.
That'll happen sometimes. So, yeah, maybe next week, before or after or during, when we have Miss Sydney Lett, who plays our intro and outro We Are NASCAR music, will join us on the show. And maybe we'll try to do something stupid and, try to play the music and sing, or I don't know. I mean, why not act like a couple of fools? Because that's all we are anyway, really. And, we love this sport, and that's why we're doing this. So, hell, why not goof off a little bit? I mean, some of y'all will be like, nah, I don't need that. But it might be fun. You never know. I mean, have a drink and, take a chill pill, however you do it. Is how you do it. Tell Miss Sydney to come to Austin. Oh, yeah. I guarantee you she wants to go to Austin, y'all. It's just a matter of what her booker does for her. Because, right now Nashville is kind of the thing for her. But Austin is a great place to play country music. But you have to go there on your own dime for the most part.
Oh,
There's
dude,
not.
Did I tell you I'm going to Austin in September?
Ooh!
Yeah. Here's all right, y'all. Y'all going to freak out on this one. I have been to, I think it's something like 38 or 40 states. Like I've been to, I'm well traveled. I got to all the hard states.
Shit, dude!
I've been to Maine, Florida. I've been to Oregon, Washington, California.
I'm at 28.
And I've been to Alaska, Hawaii. I've been to all the hard things to get to.
Alaska's the hard. I don't know. Yeah.
Sherwin, I've never been to the state of Texas. Isn't that weird?
I've been to Texas a bunch.
I know. And you've got like even almost a Texas shirt-ish.
I'm wearing a Don't mess with Terry because he's from Corpus Christi, Texas.
Get the microphone up on you too so people can hear you.
Sorry.
But
I'm sure they didn't hear me on that.
I ain't never been to Texas. See, ain't that crazy? I mean, I've been to
How in the hell have you not been to Texas?
Here's the weird thing. You can draw a line straight down, so I'll bring up the map. There's a line straight.
I know the line that you're going to draw.
Yeah, I mean, starting in North Dakota. I've never been to North Dakota.
Nobody's ever been to North Dakota.
Well, I'm going to go there. I will have visited all 50 states in my life.
No one has ever been in North Dakota.
That's on our thing.
Not just
visit it.
There aren't even people that live there. It's not a thing.
North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas. I haven't been to any one of those.
Okay, so here's the place you will never go: Nebraska. There is absolutely no reason to go to
I'll
Nebraska.
go there just to check it off the list at some point. But here's the wild thing. I've been to almost, like I said, I've been to Montana, Wyoming, Idaho, Washington, Oregon, California, Nevada, Utah, Arizona. Haven't been to New Mexico. Have been to Colorado. So that's the whole west side. I've just got New Mexico left, right? I've been to Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan,
New Mexico?
Haven't been to New Mexico. I'm looking forward to that one. I'm going to do that. Haven't been to Missouri or Arkansas either. How about you?
Arkansas for work. Yep.
Okay.
Been there.
Okay. Been to Louisiana. Been to Louisiana with you. New Orleans. Woo! We done some ish in New Orleans.
We need to go back.
Been to, yes, sir. I'm going to New Orleans next month in August. Been to Mississippi, Alabama, obviously, Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, Virginia. West Virginia, I've only passed through, so I'm not counting it.
Yeah,
I need to go to West Virginia.
It doesn't count if you don't stay there for a minute.
Been to all the Midwest stuff, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois. I lived in Wisconsin. Been to Michigan, Pennsylvania, Maryland. Shoot, I used to go there every other week. But haven't been to Delaware. Been in New Jersey, been in New York. I've not been to Connecticut before, and my wife was born there and grew up there. How crazy is that?
I have been to Connecticut. I have not been to Rhode Island.
Haven't been to Rhode Island either. Been to Massachusetts. Here's the wild part. I've been to Massachusetts and Maine, but not the two states in between with Vermont and New Hampshire. So I gotta hit those. So however many that was.
Not been to Vermont. I've been to New Hampshire.
Okay. And I've been to Alaska, Hawaii. So, there's old Rusty's breakdown. And yeah, Sherwin, because
I've been to Ontario and Quebec. I don't know if that counts.
So I've been to...
And Vancouver.
I've been to Ontario, Quebec, British Columbia, Alberta.
That's when I went, British Columbia.
And I've been to St. John's and Nova Scotia.
Oh, I think I've been to all of those as well. I'm not 100% positive on that.
That's all the...
St. John's sounds real familiar.
I guess I should go to Winnipeg, and that'll check off Manitoba. I don't know what would get me to Saskatchewan.
Well, Winnipeg, that territory would be where Banff is, so that's
okay. Yeah, I'll go there.
That's where Calgary and
is it? I thought Banff was like Alberta,
Edmonton.
Alberta is Calgary and Edmonton. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll go there. Northwest Territories, F that. And
Nunavut. Like a fat set.
Nunavut. I don't even know how to pronounce it. You never hear about that place.
Newfoundland?
Nunavut. Nunavut?
None of it.
That's like the northeast. Yeah. F that noise.
Yeah.
I'm not going
my
there.
White ass.
Oh, man. Yeah. So, where have y'all been?
I've been to France, Germany, Switzerland.
Oh, you're talking about those, yeah.
Belgium, Austria, I said Germany.
You've done
Italy.
You've done Europe way better than I have. I still have a lot of Europe and stuff to figure out. I've been to I've been to very specific ones. I've been to Switzerland. We had an amazing hiking tour of the Swiss Alps over the course of a week and a half, hiking to different hostels and hotels and stuff. That was amazing. Me and you. Here's a wild thing. This is the one that nobody, unless they've been listening to us, me and you have both been to Israel.
Yes. Oh yeah.
And I've been 3 times.
I've only been once.
But we've both been to Israel.
But I've been to Hira. And it was...
Or Haifa, right?
Haifa.
Yeah.
Haifa.
You're up there near Syria, right?
Yeah. Well, Haifa is just north
or Lebanon.
Of Tel Aviv. But I also did, y'all, if y'all are still following along, I did some major redneck shit in a quad. Like in view of Lebanon, like I'm sure there was a guy with a gun that was like scoping me, and I hit a river like balls out to the wall. We got dirty as
redneck
hell.
Stuff going on.
Yeah, we got redneck as hell up in that mother.
I love it. That's cool. I did not do any redneck stuff because our company was based out of Jerusalem, and they are very cut and dry in Jerusalem. Whereas out in Tel Aviv is like visiting a big city in the U.S. that's very much westernized.
Yeah, it's probably
cool.
I mean much smaller, but a lot more like New York City, but just smaller.
Right, and Jerusalem it's a whole different world over there. It's crazy.
It was red as F. Like. Rednecks it was like you were in Arkansas or anywhere I've ever been in Georgia that I live in, just like Rusty. Like, just, are we going mudding? All right, we're going mud.
We're going mudding today. Boys, let's do this.
What does that mean? That means you're getting dirty and we're going to drink.
And I've been to Japan. And matter of fact, I'm going to Japan again, y'all. I'm going for Christmas and New Year's. And you know how we... culturally appropriate Cinco de Mayo here, where we we're gonna go to eat Mexican food and drink beer and stuff,
eat some tacos and get some margaritas.
Not even their Independence Day or anything. This is just when they beat the French at something, and we're like, yeah, you beat the French. Watch this, woo! We'll celebrate, yay! USA for Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah.
But that's what Japan does for Christmas. They
don't celebrate a party.
They don't celebrate Christmas like
Santa Claus.
They don't do the Santa Claus thing. They don't do the religious, Jesus and birthday and all that stuff. They just do the culturally appropriated version. And their whole thing, the biggest thing you do, we have to call in October to order our Kentucky Fried Chicken dinner for. I'm dead serious. Everybody eats Kentucky Fried. They do KFC.
I knew that Japan loved KFC.
They do KFC for Christmas. That's what you do. So we got a call in October, and luckily my wife has been studying Japanese. She can speak it enough to order KFC for us in October. So when we get there in December, we can pick it up. Think about that. How long have you waited, or how often have you waited 2 months to have some KFC?
2 months, shit, 3.
Yeah, 3 months.
4?
Whatever.
No, 5.
October, November, December. Yeah.
5 months.
It's something. So you got to call up that far ahead of time, and they totally culturally appropriate.
And you have to order
Christmas,
ahead
and I
of time
cannot
because
wait for that.
The
That'll
locals
be awesome.
order so much that you have to be in line. That's how they do it.
Yeah.
Holy crap!
It's going to be awesome.
That's awesome.
So the funny thing is,
That's going to be the best fried chicken you ever had.
Christmas night, we're staying in the nicest hotel in Tokyo. It's the Park Hyatt. It's where they filmed Lost in Translation. We stayed there one night.
Oh, I love that
before.
movie.
It's the most expensive hotel I've ever been in, and it was
She
worth...
was too young then, but
True.
Understood.
It was worth every penny to stay there. And so we scrounged around. We lifted up the couch cushions. We're going to stay there 2 nights in a row. One of them's over Christmas. So we're going to be in the most expensive hotel, the nicest hotel I've ever been in, eating our KFC on Christmas Day.
Oh, you got to plow through that.
I cannot wait.
I mean,
that's going to
be some delicious fried chicken.
We're going to love that. Oh, it ain't just fried chicken either. Like, you can order a whole goose or something. I mean, it's ridiculous, but you can get a KFC.
You didn't say whole goose. I know you didn't say whole goose.
Oh, we're eating a whole damn goose.
Oh, goddamn. A whole goose. What is this man saying?
Oh,
you
man.
can order an entire goose. Like, what?
Why not? Why wouldn't you? Y'all, we got to shut this thing down. After Dark is always a blast. I hope y'all had as much fun as we have. And hopefully we'll talk to y'all soon. Next week, Sherwin, we said it. We've got Sydney Lett, the singer of the...
That's right.
Of the song at the beginning. So she's very generous in letting us continue to use that.
Huge.
So we're super excited. So
supporter of the show.
We will talk to y'all then. Thank you very much. Thank you, YouTube, for hanging out because you're the only people that can hear us right now. And we'll talk to y'all soon. Cheers.
Woo whoop.